Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in again if you are already subscribed, and if you're not, I hope you would consider subscribing to my channel if you do like my content. And also, while you're at it, you could hit the notification button so you don't miss my next upload. I do have a couple of videos coming up pretty soonish, so yeah, you don't want to miss that. So what I wanted to review today was the Revolution Matte Base Concealer Foundation. And this is the foundation I'm talking about, and it comes in, I think it's in 25 shades. Let me just check just to make sure. So it comes in 24 shades. I'm just going to read off the the description that talks about the foundation and its claims from the Revolution website. So it starts off with, "You asked, we listened, matte is back." So it says, "Meet your matte made in heaven with our latest addition to the Revolution foundation family, matte base foundation, designed with Team Matte mantra in mind, because not everyone can do dewy. This foundation offers a mattifying solution for oily, blemish-prone complexions, or for those who simply prefer a matte finish. Launching in 24 skin-true shades and a range of undertones, this full coverage foundation boasts a long-wearing matte finish that still manages to feel lightweight and comfortable on skin, while diffusing the appearances of pores for a blurred, airbrush-like finish, designed in a sleek, travel-friendly tube with a pin-worthy rose gold accent." With pin-worthy rose gold accents. Oh yeah, it's got like a bit of rose gold detailing on the tube. But yeah, so this reminds me of the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, which they launched, I believe that's probably the European version, where basically they launched the Maybelline foundation in tubes, in a tube like this, and the American version, which I also have, is in a glass bottle without a pump. So this foundation, obviously you already know it's a matte foundation. My shade and all the other foundations, I have tried every single one of the foundations that they've launched. I've tried the stick foundation, the full coverage camouflage foundation, the dewy liquid drops foundation, and my favorite one so far is the Conceal and Define foundation. And the one thing that stands out about this particular range is the coloring. So this is F13, and I remember swatching it in store and thinking, oh okay, this looks a little bit darker. At least the concealers definitely did. So my shade is F13, or my closest shade is F13. It's not an exact shade match. F13 in the majority of their foundations is a bit too neutral for me. It's described as so F13 is described as a golden undertone. It isn't really golden, it's more of a neutral undertone foundation, and I have like a golden, slightly yellowy undertone to my skin, so I go for those type of foundations. So I will show you. So this is the Conceal and Define foundation in F13. I'm just going to swatch it for you because I'm pretty sure this foundation might not be the exact shade match, or at least the concealers are. I know something was definitely darker than normal. So this is the Conceal and Define. Actually, I stand corrected. If you can hear a humming in the background, that is my washing machine going on, but I just want to film today because it's quite sunny and we're going to lose daylight pretty quickly. So this is the matte base foundation, and this is the Conceal and Define. So on camera, I think actually this might look slightly more neutral actually. So I remember swatching something, and I know I'm not crazy, I definitely remember swatching something and it was definitely a different shade. See, this is definitely more neutral and slightly darker. I feel like it's drying down to a darker finish. Hopefully you can see it on camera as well. So this is the matte base, that's the Conceal and Define. So I am not crazy, they are definitely slightly different colors. I have a feeling oh actually, let me also swatch the concealers, because the concealers again felt like they had a different coloring to them. Right, so yeah, definitely the concealers are different. So the two concealer shades I chose are 10.5 and 12.5. Now in their Conceal and Define concealers, I have both the 12.5 and the 13.5, if I can find it. So this is C13 and this is C12.5. I'm going to swatch that first for you so you can see. So this is C13 here first. I hope this light isn't washing out so you can actually see. This is C 12.5. Now I chose C10.5 and C12.5 because look at the shades. Like, so this is 13 and 12.5 in the Conceal and Define. This is 12. This is the 12.5 in the matte concealer, and this is the 10.5. So I'd say if you want to get your exact shade match in the Conceal and Define concealers, you definitely want to go a shade down at least. Yes, you definitely want to go a shade down. So onto the foundation and the concealers. Right off the bat, I will tell you I didn't get the powders because the powders were a little bit too neutral for me. I have enough powders that aren't my exact shade match that I can, you know, I've got enough basically. I don't need to get another powder just for the sake of a review. I'm trying to be a bit more conscious with my purchases this year. So these two were really the ones I was interested in. I haven't used a stick concealer in a very long time. The only stick concealer, in fact the stick concealer that I actually do use every now and then, if I have it, is my, it's like, let me just go get it, I don't want to be lazy. Okay, so the stick concealer I regularly use is my Maybelline Dream Brightening Creamy Concealer in the shade 60 Deep and 50 Medium Deep. So these are really creamy concealers. They do settle into your creases if you don't set them, but they have a really kind of brightening, kind of slightly shimmery, consistent kind of dry down effect to them, and that's basically what helps them brighten your under eyes. So yeah, so those are the only stick concealers that I do have that I know of, or that I remember anyway, that I use. So I haven't used a stick concealer in a very long time. So back to the F13. So again, I think you can probably see the color difference a bit more now. Hopefully you can see it and you're not being washed out. That's the matte base, that's the Conceal and Define. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna put this on half my face with a sponge and the other half with the brush. I'm gonna use this brush that I got from Poundland. Actually has a bit of weight to it and it's only £1 obviously, and this sponge that I got from Poundland as well. It looks similar to the like Sonia Kashuk sponges, but we can't get that sponge in the UK. So when I saw it, I thought, oh, this is pretty nice, and it's really it's not the softest sponge ever, but it's soft enough to use, and it's wet, so it does swell up quite a bit as well. So I'm going to, I've already primed my face. I've done my normal skincare, my morning skincare routine ages ago. The time is, oh my gosh, the time is 3:30. I have been faffing about all day. The time is 3:30 and I need to make a move. So I'm gonna put hopefully the same amount. It has a really lovely consistency to it. It has a bit of a sheen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, something thereabouts. 12. Let me just put a little bit dab. So in the foundation as well, you get 28 ml of product, which is 2 ml less than you normally would in a standard foundation. Normally you'd get 30. So from the reviews I have seen, this foundation does have a slight satiny finish to it rather than a matte finish, which is odd because they're really shouting about this matte finish, but apparently the foundation doesn't actually dry down to a matte finish. So I'm going to do the side with the brush since I have it in my hand, and let's see. I've already used my W7 primer. And I haven't actually said, this foundation is £5. I forgot to say, yes, the foundation is £5 and the concealer is £3. And it's meant to be full coverage, but I'm sure you can still see this waxing scar. Why is it so muggy? Let me just adjust the lighting so you can see me better. I seriously feel like I'm being washed out by the sunlight. It's crazy, but hopefully you can see me. Right, so right off the bat, on my skin it's definitely dried down to a matte finish, but it's not filling in my pores at all. I can see the bit of texture I have in this side of my cheeks. So I'm gonna go in with a sponge before it completely dries down. More foundation on the side where I've used a sponge, and this sponge has eaten quite a bit of the foundation. So let me zoom you in. Okay, so this is what my skin looks like up close. This is the side where I use the sponge. It has actually dried down to a reasonably matte finish. You can still see my texture in this area, and you can see the scar. It's not settling into my smile lines, but it's not really helping the texture of my skin from what I can see. I'm gonna see if I can build up the coverage with the brush. Okay, so it's added a bit more coverage, but not a lot, to be honest. So I think this foundation, unless you really pile it on, is more of a medium. A true test of whether or not foundation is medium or full coverage is when you've got blemishes to cover. So I've got dark marks on my skin and they're not fully covered. So I'm gonna see if I can go with the concealer. So I'm gonna use the concealer in 10.5. Oh wait, 10.5? No. I'm gonna use the concealer in 12.5. Well, okay, so as things stand, I think I've gotten like a medium to deep. I want to say I've had, so as things stand, I want to say I have pretty good coverage, but not full coverage. So I'm going to try the concealer in my under eye area. Okay, so as you can see, it's blended out in my under eye area quite well, but you can still slightly see my blemishes. Okay, so I'm gonna set my under eye area with my Revolution Luxury Banana Powder. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. I'm gonna finish the rest of my face and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Oh, just to add, oh gosh. So just to add as well, I'm not sure if I already mentioned, so my skin is pretty normal on the perimeter of my face. The only part of my face that is oily is my T-zone, so my nose and like my little bit of my forehead and like my eyebrows. And foundation usually sinks into my smile lines. I prefer if foundations didn't do that, so I hope this one doesn't do that. That's really what separates foundation, a great foundation from a good foundation for me. So yeah, it's just so unprofessional. I hate it when foundation just sinks and cracks. Even if it sinks slightly, I don't mind that, but when it actually sinks and separates and you can see the line, it's a no. So hopefully this won't do that, but we'll see how it wears during the day. I'm going to see if I can get better lighting so you can see. I've just put my hand on top of my camera again so you can see what we're looking like. I'm going to finish the rest of my face and then come back in a couple of minutes. Hi everyone, so I am back. I've had to change location so you can see me better. So I feel like now you can actually see what the foundation looks like on my skin. So once I finished setting my under eyes, I went in with an all over face powder, and that is my LA Girl Pro Face HD powder in the shade Warm Caramel. And then I topped up like my highlighted areas with my MUA Ultra Fine Loose Setting Powder in Neutralizing Apricot. It's more like a Ben Nye Topaz type of powder shade. I felt like the foundation being so neutral and the banana powder being on the lighter shade of like banana powders, I was looking a little bit washed out, so I went in with something a bit more rich. And then what did I do? And then I set my T-zone with my Coty Airspun powder, just very lightly, just like a brush. I always do this with every single foundation I use. And then I went in with contour, my normal beat up contour palette. I just use these two shades here. I promise I will get another one as soon as I finish that really dark shade over there. And then I applied my sleek blush, if I can open it with one hand because I'm holding the camera with my other hand. Oh, just about. Hey. So I use my normal sleek powder. I use the shimmery shade closer to my shoulder. And what else? Oh, I forgot to say, so I got this free Opulence powder, and this powder high face highlighter, and it is so pigmented. Let me just see if I can open it without dropping it. Look at this. And I also have the other one as well, the one that's more rose gold and orangey, so I will feature them in a haul coming up at some point this year. I don't even know when. But yeah, I got this. I think this is like £8. I don't know if I would have bought it for £8, but I know a lot of people would have. But just for a Revolution highlighter, that's quite expensive. But I can appreciate the Ultra Luxe packaging. So I hope you can see it's got this kind of reflectiveness to it. But yeah, so this Opulence powder is actually, no, it's an eyeshadow compact. I thought it was a highlighter. It's an eyeshadow compact. You learn something new every day. But anyway, I got this free when I got the foundation and the concealers, because at Superdrugs they were doing a spend £12 and get a free Opulence compact eyeshadow. So yeah, when I got these two, because basically I think my total, so 5 and 6, that's £11. But anyway, I bought some other things in the transaction, so I qualified for the £12 minimum spend. And then I bronzed with my L'Oreal True Match face powder in N9 Deep Neutral. It looks like this. It could double up as a skin tone shade on a really hot day, I suppose, if I really tan, but I use it as a slight bronzer. Anytime I use a foundation that's not rich or warm enough, I'll usually use this all over my face, or like as on the perimeter of my face. And then after that, what did I use? And then I did my brows with my Revolution, I think it's called the Define eyebrow pencil, but it's got like a triangular nib to it. If I can wind it up, hopefully with one hand. Yeah, so it's got a triangular nib to it. Hope you can see. But yeah, I don't know if it's not focusing, but it has a triangular nib. Yeah, so you can see it there. So that's what I've been using. So for mascara, I use my Kiko. The name's almost rubbed off on this. It's called the Treatment Mascara, and it gives my lashes a lot of wispiness. They look a little bit fluffy, which is good, and it gives them really good body as well, and it catches all the hairs. It's good for both the top and the lower lash line, but I particularly like it for the lower lash line. And then lips, I use my Obsession lip gloss in Sweetest Dream, and then I line my lips with my other eyebrow pencil. This is just my Primark eyebrow pencil in dark brown or something. And then I top that lip gloss with my Revolution Nude Collection lip gloss in the shade Bare All. It looks like this. What am I forgetting? And I set my face. I always forget to say that I set my face with my Revolution Sports Fix. To be very honest, I didn't need to use this because this foundation is quite matte, and it's like matte. I feel like it's matte to the point where it's not really, I mean, it's not like it's, I don't know, I want to say it's slightly exaggerating texture, but yeah, I want to say it's slightly exaggerating texture. I'm hoping when my oils come through, like later on in the day, it will start to look a bit more blurred. But right now my face looks quite matte, and with it being quite matte, it's showing up all sorts of texture. So that's the only thing. But I'm hoping as the day wears on, the foundation will settle into my skin a bit more. So yeah, so I finished. So what time is it now? So it's been an hour later. I've had a few more things to do since I started filming, and what did I want to say? So yeah, I will see how long I can keep this on. This obviously won't be like a 12-hour wear test. I should be staying up late, so I'll see if I can stay up late up until like 11 or 12. And I finished applying the foundation at, was it 3:20? But I will update you later on. But in terms of first impressions for the foundation, I think I'm gonna have to mix this. I don't want to use it on its own because it's because I don't know, I feel like it doesn't have enough blurring properties. Like, you'd have to use a blurring primer to hide your texture if you want to use this foundation. And with the concealers, again, don't forget you're going to need to go a shade down, because these concealers are a bit darker than their normal colors in the other in the Conceal and Define, and what other concealers do they have, in the Full Cover Camouflage foundation as well. So I feel like it's yeah, these concealers are a shade darker, so you want to go a shade down. But I do like them for like concealing on the skin. I don't think they're exaggerated or made anything worse or whatever, but they're not like full coverage. I feel like I have to build them up to full coverage. They're probably like a medium coverage concealer, especially now that I have dark marks. If I didn't have any blemishes on my skin, or I had really light blemishes, I will probably consider these concealers to be full coverage. So I suppose the term full coverage is subjective. So yeah, so that's my 2 cents that I wanted to add to this. And oh, did I mention I use my sleek Copperplate highlighter? I was going to use this as the highlighter and then I forgot, but anyway, it's a good thing I didn't, because it's actually an eyeshadow palette. But it does have some beautiful shades in here that I can actually use as highlighter. It is so beautiful. But yeah, I use my sleek Copperplate highlighter, if I can open it without digging my nails into it. So on camera, I have to say, it does look quite good from some angles. If I do zoom in, you can see, can you see like my bumps and my texture? I feel like you can see. So yeah, I used my sleek Copperplate highlighter. I've just been reaching for this because it's the one that's out and I love it. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see how this foundation wears for the rest of the day. And I feel like I'm having good eyebrow days. What do you think? Leave a comment down below, and I will update you in a few hours. I say in a few hours, in a few seconds in YouTube time. I will update you later on tonight. But in terms of first impressions, it's not my go-to foundation. It is more like I'm rushing to the shops, I'm rushing to the high street, I'm going to see someone for a few hours, I'll put this foundation on. So this is the kind of foundation you would wear if you don't want to wear your best foundation and you don't have anywhere too important to go. yeah, it's not to say that it won't be a great foundation for somebody, but for me, I have better foundation. So yeah, this is on the lower end, and yeah, so in terms of the claim as well, so it's saying it's pore blurring. It is not pore blurring. You can see the texture on my cheeks, not at all. It's not even filling anything, and it's not full coverage for me. I don't know if I can get it to full coverage without looking too cakey, and I'm not about that life. So yeah, so I will catch you later on. Enough rambling. See you in a few seconds in YouTube time. Hi everyone, so I am back for my first check-in. I never do check-ins normally, but I thought I might as well do it since I'm at home. So I'm in my bathroom again, and obviously there is no natural sunlight, so I'm having to use some artificial lighting from my phone and the bathroom. So the time is now 8:25, and the foundation looks like it's holding up well. I think in this light you can definitely see where it hasn't fully covered my blemishes. I feel like it's there's a slight indentation here in my smile line, but it isn't bad so far. My forehead looks good. I feel like it looks better in the mirror than it does in this lighting, but yeah, I did actually notice not long after filming and setting my face that my face actually looked slightly more blurred, like when the foundation had settled into my skin. So yeah, it might not look like that at first, but if you give it, you know, a few minutes, an hour or so, it will look the way it's supposed to. So it does have some blurring effect to it, but I'll wait again until about 11-12. Hopefully I should get some work done, and then I will come back and show you. But it looks really good. It looks like I'm having a good skin day-ish. It doesn't look like foundation because, well, I suppose I didn't put too much on. Yeah, I didn't really pile it on to get like full coverage, otherwise it would have looked cakey. There is one thing though, I will see if I can zoom in a bit. So hope you can see if this will focus. So slight creasing in my eyes. You can see where the concealer has separated. So yeah, it feels like it's worse in this eye than it is in this eye. But yeah, the concealer has separated a bit. Oh, my hands hurt. Right, so the concealer has separated a bit, but it isn't bad. I feel like because I didn't go for a super bright highlight, it actually isn't noticeable until you look closely at my under eye area. So yeah, if you keep your concealer, even if your concealer creases, if you keep the powder and the setting powder that you use quite close to your skin tone and don't have too much of a highlight, it won't be obvious. If you go for a super bright highlight and then the concealer creases and cracks, then you know everyone can see your dirty little secret. But yeah, I am loving my brows today. I used the same, was it the 12.5 concealer shade, the same one that I used today to clean up my brows, and it I don't know, I feel like, I'm not sure if I'll use it again. I'll try again. Actually, I will try again. It was fine. It did blend out. It actually is a really creamy concealer. Yeah, it's a creamy concealer. I would use it on the rest of my face, and I might still use it under my eyes because it isn't bad. It just maybe takes some working with. And yeah, so I'll see how it looks by 11-12ish. Yeah, so until then, I will see you later. Hi everyone, so today I tested out the Revolution matte base foundation, and what it is, when I initially did the application and the short wear test, I was supposed to come back late at night to tell you how it wore for the whole day, but then I kind of slept like all over my face. I slept off on the couch and half my face was gone, including my brows, so I didn't want to show that on camera. So I thought I would take some time out and then go back, try the whole routine again, and then come back and show you how it's worn for the whole day. So it kind of works out better because you get a full 12 hours wear rather than I think the 8 hours you would have gotten from the other video. But yeah, so this is my second time wearing this whole foundation routine, also with bonuses. Also, wow. Oh, right, and the elephant in the room is the change of hair. So when I initially tried this foundation on, it was several weeks back, and I've only just gotten around to trying it out again, and in that time my hair has changed. So yeah, that's a little side note. Of course you've noticed. also with a few added bonuses. So I commented, so I mentioned that I wasn't really interested in getting the matte powders that they launched with them, but when I went in store, I actually realized that the F13 shade wasn't as neutral as I thought, because I knew the foundation is like a very neutral foundation. It doesn't have the golden undertones that I usually go for in my foundations, so I just assumed that the powder was also going to be quite neutral, and I just didn't want to buy product for the sake of buying it just to complete the whole collection. So I passed on the powders until I went in store and actually saw the powders weren't that bad. They're quite warm. Like the F13 shade is warmer than I thought it was going to be, and I think it's slightly warmer than the foundation, which is good. So that is what I have on my face right now. I'll show you the extra products I'm talking about. So the first product is the Bake and Blot powder. It's the banana shade, and it looks like this. So this is the Bake and Blot powder, and it's in the shade Banana Deep. It's not really deep, it's more like a regular banana shade. I don't really know how they can call this banana deep, like how pale is the original banana shade. But anyway, so this is the powder I used on the areas I highlighted, which is under my eyes, the center of my forehead, and my chin. I think you can see that it still has a bit of a highlighted effect right now, even though my face is looking rather dewy right now. So the time is 8:20 and I put my face on at around 7. Yeah, so this is the Banana Deep, which I didn't try in the video initially because I wasn't really looking to buy, but then I thought actually it would be good to have a pressed banana powder because it's just more convenient than having to mess around with the loose powder, especially in the container that it comes in, which is, you know, it isn't really the best. So the next thing I tried from the same collection launch is the highlighter. So this is the Reloaded highlighter. They launched a couple of shades, and the shade is Raise the Bar. It's a really lovely golden champagne color. I could stand to go a little bit deeper, but this is really good on the high point of my cheeks, and it is really pigmented. The only thing is I wouldn't say, like, the texture is quite dry, so I'm not sure if it's a texturizing highlighter or not. I will have to try it a little bit more. It's not the highlighter I'm actually wearing today. I did actually forget to try this because it was stashed in the back of my makeup drawer, but I have tried this before, and I can tell you that I think it's a really nice shade. But I'm not sure if it's texturizing on my cheeks or if I was just having a really bad skin day that day. But yeah, I do like how it swatches and I like the shade. So the two powders I actually went back and got was the F13 shade. So this is the F13 shade. So this is what the shade looks like next to my skin. It's not that bad of a match actually. So I really like this powder. You get a lot of products for, I think it's £3. It's a really cheap product. Obviously the ingredients aren't like amazing or anything. It's just like the regular talc and probably mineral oil. So it's not the most mattifying powder I have. It doesn't keep me matte all day or anything like that, but it's really good everyday powder, and it's good that it's affordable. That's like the key thing with this. And it gives you, sorry, my camera keeps shaking, it gives me enough wear. I can top up with this powder as well, and it has enough coverage. It has medium coverage. So I got the powder in two shades. I got it in the shade P14 and P13. So P13 is in front, P14 is at the back. I use P14 to contour, and I use P13 all over my face, and then I use the Bake and Blot in Banana Deep in my highlighted areas. So now to the foundation. So as you can see, the foundation is pretty dewy. I've got normal skin on the perimeter of my face and oily in the T-zone, and as you can see that my T-zone is quite oily. I have actually not even blotted properly. I've just like blotted on the back of my hand just to see what level of oil, but I haven't like gone in or anything and tried to get rid of oil. This is basically what it looks like after a whole day's wear, after 13 hours actually. So it's been a really long day. So as you can see, it's worn off on the corners of my nose where I have been blowing my nose, and I feel like it's because the oils in my face have come through, so it's not transfer resistant in any way, shape or form. The foundation doesn't promise to be, so I don't expect it to be, but I do feel like it's coming off quite a lot. So yeah, if you do have oily skin, just beware of that. I'm not too fussed about how it looks right now because it has been a whole day. And the thing I do like about it is as my oils came through, the foundation blended in more with my skin, which is what I expect to happen. So I did mention when I first tried the foundation that it was a bit texturizing. So what I did was use a pore filling primer on my cheeks where I have enlarged pores. So the texturizing issue wasn't really an issue anymore, because I know initially when I tried it, I tried the foundation over just like my normal skin. I had my W7 Prime Magic Primer in my T-zone, but I didn't deliberately apply that like over my cheeks. So this time I used my Technique potted primer. It's basically just a pore filling primer, so I used that on top of my W7, and that's helped a lot. So as you can see, my pores aren't really that pronounced. You can see a little bit, but it's been the rest, you know, it is now the end of the day. So this is to be expected. One other thing I do like is the fact that it took a long time to settle into my smile lines, and even when it did, like I feel like I can pat it a little bit and it just kind of blends out a little bit more, so it's not as obvious. So I don't mind that about the foundation, but as you can see, it is coming off. So I do like the foundation, but I stand by my initial review, which is that it's not a long wear foundation. It's like a few hours, like it'll give you a good few hours, but don't expect it to hold you down like for the whole day. This is not that kind of show. But I do like the foundation enough to wear it like on a daily basis. It's not a foundation I'll wear to an event. That's just not what it is. But yeah, so if you're looking for an everyday cheek foundation that's affordable, it's in the drugstore and easy to access, you can wear this foundation. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. It really does help me out too. And if you've been subscribed already, thank you so much for your support. That really does help me out. I feel like I don't say thanks for your support enough, so I need to make sure I say that in videos now. But you do, thank you for your support. If you are subscribed to my channel, and please do share my videos as well. That does help me get a little bit more exposure. I am a smaller YouTuber and I just don't get seen as much, so it would be good to know that all this content I'm uploading isn't really going to waste. So yeah, I'd also like to hear some comments from you guys. If you found anything I've said relatable or useful, please do comment down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts too. So yeah, I will park this little wear test here, and if you enjoyed this video, if you found anything I've said informative, please do like this video. It really helps me out. Until next time, I will see you in my next video. Stay blessed. Bye.